Here is a hot take I do not often hear from art creators. I have zero intention to be a full-time artist. And I know this might sound really weird and counterintuitive coming from someone who literally makes art, sells products with it, runs multiple art-related accounts, etc. And if you're someone who has been pondering this topic and thinking that you only have two options, either don't sell your art at all or go full-time, go big, go home, this video is for you. It might just provide you with a different perspective and validate your feelings. First of all, by being a full-time artist, I mean it quite literally. For me, this would mean that this comes directly from making and selling my art, excluding like yapping on YouTube or anything like that. So literally making art, selling it. That's the definition of the full-time artist to me, and of course you may have a different one. I love being able to sell my work, but I know myself way too well. And I know that if I was to pursue this gig full-time and let my income, my mental load, and my day-to-day life fully depend on it, it would be a recipe for a complete disaster. For me, making art is a source of immense joy. And I really want it to stay this way. It's my way to decompress, to express myself, and to sort of escape into this completely different world from the chaos of everyday life. And even though I do sell my products, when I sit down to draw, ultimately I don't think about super hot trends, product margins, or anything like that. I like just allowing myself to create. And turning this into a meticulous to-do list just doesn't feel right for me. And what's more, it doesn't even feel like my art would benefit from it. It would be just going through the motions for the sake of collecting a sufficient enough paycheck. And I don't feel like this is good enough fuel for creativity. I do not want my happy place to turn into a deadline factory. Another adjacent problem with going full-time is just the extra fuss that comes from it. It's like relentless producing, packaging, pitching, pivoting, staying on top of short-lived trends, etc. And this work needs to be done even if you're tired and uninspired, except it requires inspiration and fresh eyes. And while some people make it work, I know my limitations and I acknowledge that I probably can't. I can't create amazing things out of thin air. Maybe 10 years down the line, when my art skills are much better, I will be able to put something down on paper no matter what. And maybe at that point, I'll change my mind. But for now, it's just not what's gonna happen. And consequently, I do not want that kind of relationship with my art. I want to be able to fall in love with the process over and over and over again. And if someone falls in love with the resulting pieces, great. And if they don't, I still have food on the table by other means. And let me say this again. I don't mean that I will not sell my art. I've got a storefront with all sorts of things, and I'm currently working on a hand-drawn coloring book that I'm planning to put up for sale soon as well. By the way, if you like coloring, you can grab a free sample from this very book. Link is in the description. But here is the key difference, because I'm not relying on it as a source of income. I'm not building my life around it. I build my creativity into my life. And this means that I don't have to just keep pumping stuff out that I don't necessarily like just to keep feeding the shop algorithm. Some days or months I'm wildly inspired and can finish a few pieces in quick succession. However, I can also enter creative lulls when nothing new comes out in a while. As a mom of 2 toddlers, I also like to prioritize my time with them. And thus, this season of life must be structured in a way where I can give myself a pause whenever without worrying about whether the mortgage is going to be paid. And that freedom is essential to me, and it's essential to the quality of my art as well. There is a lot of black and white thinking in creative spaces, like either you're amazing or you're nothing, either you have a viral moment every day and sell out on TikTok, or you're a failure. If you're not quitting your day job, then you must not be that serious about your art. If you're not posting regularly, then you're not a real modern artist. And it just feels like total nonsense to me. You don't have to be full-time to be talented or passionate. You're allowed to take commissions only sometimes and say no when you're overwhelmed. You are allowed to sell your art on the side without necessarily making it your whole identity. And furthermore, you can even, imagine that, make art that no one ever buys or even sees just because it brings you joy. And this doesn't make you any less of an artist. The internet loves cliches like go all in. But what is all in? And why is going halfway a bad option? If you think about it for a second, the answer is probably because they said so. And that's not a valid one, is it? So yeah, just because I'm not a full-time artist or even necessarily striving to be one, doesn't mean I'm giving up on my creativity. In fact, it's the opposite. This helps me protect it. Nurture this seed of creativity gently instead of squeezing every bit of money and online attention out of it. Because creating art is my playground, not my overheating pressure cooker. So if you're feeling the same way, you're definitely not alone. And let me know in the comments what's your relationship with art like. I'd really like to know. And if you enjoyed this video, the next one is also about weird trends in online art communities, and I think you'll really enjoy that one as well.